Philippians 4:13 is number 3 in our top 10 most searched for Bible verses on the internet. And if I were to do a top 10 most misquoted Bible verses on the internet, this would certainly be one of them. So briefly in this video, I'm going to explain how this verse often gets misquoted and then explain what Paul actually meant. Hi everyone, I'm Mark Leeming and welcome to the Thursday Bible Brief. Philippians 4:13 says this, "I can do all things through him who gives me strength." Now, whenever we go on social media, we'll often encounter some cheesy inspirational quote that some well-meaning person posted, meant to inspire us to live happy and successful lives. And I find that some Christians will use Philippians 4:13 in a similar fashion. If you're a Christian and you want to achieve your life goals, if you want to lose weight, if you want to pass an exam, if you want the sports team that you're playing for to win the championship, well then, just claim and quote Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through him who gives me strength. I've heard Christians quote that verse for those very reasons. But really, what did Paul mean? The Apostle Paul had been imprisoned for his faith at the time of writing this letter to the Philippians. And the Philippians had sent him aid, had sent him gifts during this imprisonment to help him out. And so part of the reason for writing this letter was to thank them. But in verse 12, the verse just prior to today's verse, Paul said something very remarkable. He said that he had found the secret of contentment. He had discovered that no matter what he was going through, no matter what trial or hardship, suffering or persecution, he discovered that God was always faithful, that God would always give him the strength to keep pressing on, to always serve God with all of his heart, mind, and soul. And so Paul wanted to encourage the Philippians to do likewise, who themselves were facing persecution and suffering. Now, as modern Western Christians, for now at least, we may not face the same trials, persecution, and sufferings that the early church had to endure. But I still think that we can draw meaning and hope, inspiration from this verse, because we will all face sometime in our lives tragedy. We will perhaps face the death of a spouse, a severe illness of a child, bankruptcy, loss of house and home, you name it. And it is during those times that we may question God's goodness. We may even question his existence. Now, if you yourself right now are facing one of those, you're questioning God. God, where are you? And you feel like, well, quite frankly, giving up. May I encourage you that God is faithful. He will give you the strength to serve him, to keep pressing forward. You can do all things through him who gives you strength. And that's not some cheesy Christian inspirational quote.